All right, everybody, welcome back to Talk About It Tuesday. If you aren't aware by now, I'm T Easy. Um, as of this moment, these are going really well, not only on here but on YouTube as well. So we might end up adding another episode in the future to the week. So I'll keep you all updated on that front. As of today, I'm very excited about this week's guest. So let's get right into it. So today's guest is a true ray of sunshine. She's a decorated athlete, including 4 years of collegiate softball, a member of the USA team, a pillar of the softball community at U-Pike. She's a mother, a wife, a parole officer for the state of Kentucky, and is my number one favorite person on earth. Please welcome my wife, Mattea. How you doing, babe?
Hi, I'm okay. That was an intro.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, it had me blushing. I was like, I didn't know I did all that stuff.
So, that's something I picked up. Also, you didn't tell me a color. Give me a color.
Let me see purple. Ooh, yeah, I like
Okay.
the purple.
But yeah, that's something I picked up from watching a lot of different podcasts. I think the intro is the best move for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but I know that was a pretty good one. But you want to give a quick bio on yourself?
Um, 25. I live in Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky. Lived here all my life. I'm married to a wonderful man. I'm a new mom. Like you said, I'm an officer for the state of Kentucky. I'm a probation and parole officer, so my life is never simple. So, but I like it. I didn't go to school for it. Went to school for psychology, and then by God, I just got an opportunity, and I just took it. And almost 3 years later, here I am, chilling.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Not me. Considering all the stuff that I used to do, could it be me?
Who would have thought? Look at us.
Look at us.
All right, so let's jump right in. Let's kind of start off with being a mom and a wife. Um, in the context, I don't know that's something that you didn't necessarily think you were going to be. So, talk a little bit on that. What got you to that
Yeah,
point?
you're the like key part on that is you. Um, Actually, 2 seconds. That door opened, and I'm afraid Evie might hear me. So hold on 1 second. Sorry, me being a mom.
That's gonna. That's probably gonna happen again. Just fair enough. If he wakes up, we'll take a break. But also, she had too many issues trying to get on. So,
Mom things. I have the baby monitor, but I was worried that she might hear me because I can't with these beats. Are so loud.
you can't tell how
Uh,
loud you're being.
yeah, so I'm trying to talk really soft.
Fair enough.
If I'm talking too soft, just let me know. But yeah, basically, I had no interest being a mom. Like it started from like a young age. I think mostly just because like I was that kid that every parent and like family members depended on. So I was always watching these people's kids. And I was like, this is not for me. Like I love kids. I always loved kids and I just had no interest in being a mom. And then as I got older, it really became I'd be damned.
The
Rocket
rocket.
just opened that door. It's okay. I can see it. Um, but like as I got older and watching my parents' relationship and stuff like that, and other people who had kids really young, a big factor was the father. And I was like, I never wanted to be trapped in a situation where I had to stay with someone and then being like not only just a crappy person, but like a crappy parent to my child. And that terrified me. So, like, from a very young age, I knew I didn't want to be a mom. And I met you, and that all changed. But yeah, from a young age, I just never wanted to be a mom.
People
But
already
here
think
I
I have you
am, like,
brainwashed. I feel like this podcast is just gonna solidify that for some people.
no, I'm definitely not brainwashed. Like, I think this is also facts now. Like, We live in a world where, social norms are not normal anymore. And, my mom worked a full time job. She came home, raised two kids. I mean, there's a 7 year difference between my brother and I. So, I mean, one kid was already grown up by the time she had another one who was, somewhat grown up. And so my mom came home, she cooked dinner, she cleaned the house, she took me to all my softball games, my practices, any other thing I needed. So, you know, I had that structure of like being a mom and being a, full time employee kind of thing. But I just, I don't know, like things just change as you get older. But definitely meeting like the right person changes a lot about yourself that you didn't even know.
I agree.
Like, I
Um,
don't think you expected to be married and have kids.
no, I mean, if you'd asked my sisters, they would have told you no shot. Um, Going off of that, what do you think your best advice for a first time mom, wife, parent is?
You're gonna fail, sis. You're gonna fail so hard. Like, it's normal to feel like you don't know what you're doing, but also, like, it took me a really long time to realize I was a mom. And I think a lot of people think as soon as you have a kid, like, you get this overwhelming feeling of being a mom, and you love them forever and you love them so much. But, like, postpartum is hard. And so just take it day by day. You're going to fail. You're going to cry. You're going to think you're doing everything but wrong. But as long as your baby is happy and healthy, you're doing something right.
I think I agree with that. I think too, like it's interesting. You said like you felt like it took you a while to like for you to realize it. What I've been telling guys
Yeah.
is like there's a time frame of like the time that you find out you're having a kid, you're like, I'm gonna be a dad. And it honestly for me it lasted 9 months. Like I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna be a dad. Like I'm a dad. I need like all this stuff is gonna happen, like exactly how I want it to happen. In the sense of like I'm gonna be prepared. I'm gonna XYZ is gonna be done. I'm gonna be more disciplined. I'm gonna be whatever. Like I'm gonna set a standard. And then the thought is like, oh, I'm a dad. But then the baby comes and it's like, holy shit, I'm a dad.
Yeah.
Which are
Like stuff
granted,
hits
I,
hard.
I think
Like,
I think that the physical, like physically, like it hits a little bit faster for you because you're like pushing,
yeah.
but like
Yeah.
until like Evie was like took her first breath, it was like at that moment you're a dad. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But that's interesting
Yeah.
that you said that. I didn't think that you had the same perspective that way.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of moms that I've watched like their podcasts and stuff like that too, and just like friends of ours, they say like you dissociate so much when you give birth. Like, I mean, first off, I couldn't feel anything. So I'm faking contractions because I don't know what's going on. And then next thing you know, she's here and, putting her on my chest and like I know she's mine and she's beautiful and like you get this overwhelming of emotions, but you don't feel like yourself. And so like it was really hard for me because I felt like something was wrong with me because I wasn't feeling as attached as I thought I should be. But now like the little baby's like everything to me, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, also too, I mean, I know you pretty well. I mean, it was I'd say from like the moment we met it, we kind of just clicked. But I feel like in that moment of like the childbirth moment, like I'm there with you, but it seemed like you were so far. Like I don't know if it was the
Mm-hmm.
medicine or what, but it just seemed like you were so disconnected from the moment. And I feel like
Like, yeah, I
even when
don't
they
know.
put Evie on your chest, it was like I think it was more like I don't know pain or like shock, but it was just like you were there, but it was like part of you was not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what's crazy is I can't tell you what I mean, like, yes, I was drugged up, but like I can't tell you the pain that I was experiencing those 24 hours before I got the medicine. Like it's just like I don't know if it's just something that women just it just happens like cuz a lot of people I've talked to they don't remember childbirth. Like they don't remember the pain, they don't remember any of that because like I guess your brain just kind of just does what it needs to make sure you get this baby out of you. I guess I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I guess that's a good part of being. Um, I guess I was a sober one in that moment, but I mean, like, I remember everything vividly. And I
Yeah,
remember leaving before you got the epidural and coming back, and it was a totally different person.
yeah. As soon as they broke my water, the doctor was like, "You're like, there was no way that Eve is gonna break
Right.
through." Because it was a good thing, but at the same time it was so thick and tough. And so as soon as she did that, I felt the gush and I was like, okay, like this is where it's gonna speed up. Immediately hurt. I thought I was about to shit on myself. I was crying. And the next thing you know, like this lady brings out this peanut ball and tries to put it in my legs. And I'm like, absolutely not. And they put like a little pan underneath my ass because I kept saying I was gonna shit myself. And then they're like, no, honey, like she's just moving down. It's gonna feel like that. And I was like, I don't like this. I was like, bring the epidural. And that's when I kicked you and dad out. And I remember the guy's name was Matt, and he was telling me all this stuff. And I was like, I don't care. Just stick it in my back.
so,
Please, just
so in the
get going.
future, we'll get the epidural sooner.
I don't honestly. Okay, this is probably way crazy, but like I liked how I did my birth. Like I liked feeling everything until a certain point I couldn't take it any longer. And I think the reason why was because I felt like I was like doing the woman thing.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, but at the same time, like I've heard horror stories of people like going in when they're like only 2 centimeters dilated and then getting an
Yeah, I
epidural
think
and
that's
then
early though. Like I'm saying, like I feel like there's a like you hear those stories of people like there's
as
a
soon as they
they
walk
it's
in,
too
they
late.
get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then there's
Yeah.
also the same story of people waiting too long. They're like, we can't do that. Like it's too late.
Yeah.
You gotta rough it now.
Yeah.
So
I definitely got lucky on that. I think I got dilated to like 4 before I got to the epidural. Um and honestly the epidural was not bad. Because they numb you and feels like a bee sting and you just feel a bunch of pressure and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you don't feel nothing,
yeah, I
you feel
walked in.
great.
She's like, "What's up, Shawty?" And I was like, "Who are you? What did you do with my life?"
Yeah. What's up, brother? I think that's what I said. I think so because that's when the what's up,
Yeah,
brother
that
was.
was the kick.
Yeah.
No, no, just gangster. Like, granted, I wouldn't say scared. Like I grew up with three girls, so I was never scared of women. I knew that what women were capable of, and that's terrifying at moments. But like to watch you go through that, and then just a fucking single tear rolls out your eye, I was like, nah, that's some hard shit. This my motherfucking
Yeah.
wife right here.
I was, I just, I don't know, like going through the contraction stuff, I was learning like breathing techniques and stuff like that. But like, I could not tell you what the pain was like at all. Like, I just kind of bare through it, and I was just afraid that if I didn't go without, like, if I didn't get the epidural, I wouldn't be able to push because I was so tired. I was so tired. Like, I was exhausted.
So, in not talk about parenting, because I mean, I'm sure your answer is very similar in that fact for me. But like preparedness in the sense of like the like the beforehand, like before the baby. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
uh, like having stuff stored. Like, no, we need diapers, we need this, this, and this. And then, I mean, it comes to buying shit. You buy shit every day. Every time you go out, it's not a Mattea trip anymore. It's a what can I get Evie trip.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty bad.
the like fact of like you said breathing techniques, like having that in your back pocket going in, like this will help me get through it. How prepared do you think you were on that front?
I definitely think I could have been better. That's also me. I always think there's room to be better. I mean, I wish that I prepared my body a little bit better far as like drinking raspberry tea a little bit earlier or eating dates a little bit earlier. Um,
But like having
'Cause
what is that, like a embryonic sac? Having a thick one is a good thing, right? It's not bad.
yeah, that's great, but like dates and stuff, what their purpose is to make your cervix soft, so that way it's not, you know, giving when you go to push the baby, it's not that bad. Um, I mean, granted, I didn't feel anything, but I also did. Sorry, guys, this is trigger warning. I also did tear. Okay, my cooch got teared up.
It got teared.
Yeah. Evie kept on going underneath my pelvis bone, so they
Yeah.
had to push down. So that was why I honestly tore, was because um, she just didn't want to participate, I guess. But yeah, I mean,
Stubborn. 6
I,
minutes. We were 6 minutes away from having a
I
4-4-24
know, I
baby.
know,
6 minutes.
I know. That's how we know she's our kid, though.
Yeah,
She
for
is
sure.
not gonna let somebody like hold her down.
But it's just Johnson time.
Oh yeah, for
It's in her
sure.
blood.
She's like, oh, you wanted me to have a special birthday? Nah. So, but I mean, I feel like, God has its ways. I
Right.
mean, when he wanted her to be there, that's when she was supposed to be there. But
I wanted to touch on this because I thought it's pretty interesting. So, I mean, you know me in the sense of like a husband and how I go about things, like planning for things.
hmm
I feel like as a man, I mean, chat, like, correct me if I'm wrong. As a man, typically, there's a lot of shit we kind of just fly by the, what is the saying? Fly by the thread of your seat?
seam of your pants.
Yeah, something like that, right? I think
Yeah.
that's a lot the case a lot of the time with men. Like, our wedding was like that. I kind of just
hmm
had a rough outline, did what I wanted. 10 minutes before the wedding, I was like, all right, let's go get married, right?
hmm
In the sense of the, I guess it's like like for me, I know long term, I'm gonna be like in that instance, I have so little to do with what's going on.
hmm
Like it's not like medieval times where I have to like help you birth the child. I know that I'm just a bystander in that room. Do what I can do to help Mattea, hold her hand, put the oxygen mask on her face. But in
I
that,
still don't know why I needed that oxygen. I was breathing perfectly fine.
I
I
think
was getting
I
pissed
think it's
off.
it has to do with probably so you don't pass out.
Um, yeah,
But
I get it now.
in that instance of like, there's certain moments for men that we don't need to have a plan for because it's bigger than us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know for you, but I know a lot of women when it comes to their wedding, they already have it like this teed up. This is exactly how it's gonna play out. And then for me, it was like, hey, I'm just gonna enjoy the day.
Yeah.
Because for you and me, that's only one of those. So,
Yeah.
but no, I think
Uh,
that's interesting for sure. Because I mean, but also I feel like it's kind of the flip. Like there's certain things as a wife that you have to be prepared for, and other things that you trust me to handle without you,
yeah.
like our financials.
Financials.
And me with
Yeah.
our financial advisor, who asks about you every time. Why is it Mateo here? That's not our spiel.
Yeah. I'm good. My husband takes care of that. I am 100. I tell people this all the time. I am a husband girly. I don't know. Ask my husband. Like, and people get so mad. They're like, "Do you not do anything for yourself?" Yes, I'm very independent, but
Try to be.
if my husband can do it, I will let him do it because I mean,
I
I
think it
just
depends.
I
It
don't
depends on
know.
how much weight it has.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because you try to
Like,
build shit by yourself all the time.
oh yeah.
And I just sit
And
there. I'll let you try to do it.
hey, I built her crib.
You
I
did.
built her crib
Yeah.
that day, and it whooped my butt. I was hurting bad because she was trying to get on top of me, and I was like, it was a two-person job for sure, but
But I will say
we
that's.
got her done.
I think that's one thing that I really like about our relationship is like I'm not quick to. Alyssa said nothing wrong with having support. I love having a husband. I think that that's one thing I really like about our relationship is that there's certain things that we need each other for that more times than not we're hesitant to ask for the help, but
Yeah,
we're there. We're like just standing by, like, okay, just give me the word. I'm here.
yeah,
Like when you brought home
yeah.
that fucking baby gate and you were trying to put it together, and I was laying in bed just
I
like
did,
I'm waiting.
and I ended up getting it, and then getting mad, and then I figured it out, and I was like, never mind.
But no, that's funny. Uh, but again, I think this is gonna feed into people thinking that you're brainwashed.
I'm completely brainwashed, everybody. Please.
All right, I got people saying that I'm second to Hitler. I don't need people to think that I brainwashed my wife too. Um,
Oh gosh. Remind me to tell you this joke when you get back into the room.
okay, that means that it's not appropriate for Twitch.
Uh, it's just bad.
What would you say your biggest life goal is?
To honestly, like, this is not being even cheesy, like just to make a happy home. Honestly, like I used to be so career driven and everything, and now that I've had a career job and I see the toll that it has on me mentally, but also like I feel so absent sometimes. Um, Now my biggest goal is just to make a happy home, whatever that means. Like if that means me working, whenever I can, or I just want a happy home. That's like one of my biggest goals in life. I never want to come home and not feel like that's home. You know, how many times can I say home in one sentence? Jeez.
What I think that has a lot to with kind of like the way you grew up and constantly going somewhere else,
Hmm.
and then like even traveling with softball. Like you were never somewhere too long. Even when you
Yeah.
had a physical home, you weren't always there. Um,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask. Uh,
It's
so in the future, the plan is to be a stay-at-home mom. Like you're gonna do something on the side, but that's priority one.
yeah.
What do you think is going to be the hardest transition for you in that aspect?
Staying home. Like
Well,
I've
okay, a
just been.
stay-at-home mom doesn't mean that you have to stay in the house. You're not in
No, I know
prison.
that. I know that. But like I think like not well, we've talked about this several times, the money situation. Like not having my money that I worked for and like that's what's gonna drive me crazy. But honestly at this point I'm just gonna have to let it go because I mean I if I focus too much on it, it makes me want to back out, and I know that that's something I want to do. So I'm trying to get my brain to realize I'm gonna be okay.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. On a daily basis, how many times do I tell you no?
I don't think you really do tell me no, unless it's something really ridiculous that I'm saying.
Do you have an example?
Mm, Mostly like, hey, can we just move? That's normally what it is. Like,
So the irrational
um,
things is what I say no
yeah,
to. Okay,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fair.
yeah. Things that are not like, I
You
mean,
mean the fucking house that you wanted when we were about to have Evie? That was very irrational.
yeah. I mean,
I get it. Don't get me wrong. I want a house too, but at the same time, timing wise, didn't make much sense. We're living for free. You know what I mean?
yeah. But this is also somebody who kept on telling you she wanted a baby for months
Yeah.
before we got married, and then was like, "What the hell?" when I got pregnant a month after we got married.
You do this thing that gives me a lot of PTSD.
I'm
So,
sorry.
no, it's okay. So it's like it's not you. The good thing is that you're not doing it in um you're not doing it in a like harsh way. You know what I mean? Like you're
Mhm,
when you're being sneaky, you're doing it for the right reasons. But
mhm,
it freaks me the fuck out.
mhm,
Cause and granted, like I'm learning to deal with it because I can't cast my previous relationship issues onto you. But in the past, when somebody was being sneaky, they're trying to tried to catch me up into something or like try to see if I'm doing something wrong. And I don't have anything to worry about, but there's still it's like that flash of like, oh fuck,
yeah,
what did she try to figure out? You know,
yeah,
like when you like it was very strange. Look, when we found out Mattea took a pregnancy test, it came back positive. It's like a typical what was like a Wednesday. No, because we don't have family night.
I
I
think
think
it was
it's
Tuesday.
a typical stream night. So I'm on stream. Mattea comes in there like, "Hey, I gotta go to. I'm gonna go to Walmart. It's 7 o'clock." So I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go and see if I can find some stuff for Trips Kids because we have that party coming up." And I'm like, "You gotta go right now, okay?" And then she comes back, and then she's like, "I gotta show you something." And I'm like,
Hey, put a pause in it. Our kid's moving. Our kid's moving.
"Okay."
Oh no. Hold on. I'm sorry.
But she comes back, and I'm like, "Weird." And then she's like, "Hey, I got something to show you." And I'm like, "Okay." So we go in there. Now my head's in two places. I'm like, is she trying to plot something weird? Is she trying to be cute? What's going on? So I go in the bedroom. She tells me to close my eyes. Also, Matea's a big fan of poking me in the ass for some reason. I don't understand why. And she does it too many times. But I'm like walking in the bedroom with my eyes closed and my hands over my asshole because I think she's gonna poke me in the ass. And then there's like a box of pregnancy tests and a whole bunch of cute shit. And I'm like, no shot. This isn't real. But I don't like that that's the first video she has of me telling me that she's pregnant is me covering my ass because I didn't want her to poke me in the asshole.
I walked in here and she was like, Mom. I was like, no, go back to sleep.
Alyssa said, as someone who's contributed 50% of her relationship until now, it's hard to let go, but it will be worthwhile to have the time to spend with Evie and focus on you and your goals.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm most excited about, especially like the days that I get to work from home and I get to spend so much time with her. I get so excited, like to wake up in the morning knowing that she gets to wake up to me and like us playing and watching movies and me making her meals that she's not going to eat, but at least, it's fun to experiment. Like, is she
She's
going
gonna
to
feed
eat
him to
this
rock
today?
it.
Oh, yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but honestly, kind of in that same preface, like I wouldn't say animosity. I think a better choice of words. I'd say animosity. Like you have that now where you're at work and I have Evie all day, and I'm like, granted, some days are worse than others, but like I try to soak up as much time as I have now because I know eventually I'm not gonna have it. So it's
Yeah.
gonna flip eventually for us, and I'm gonna have that animosity. Like you get to spend all day with her.
Yeah.
But
It's
also,
hard.
I'm also looking forward to being the fun parent all the time. So thanks for that.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, it's, I'm super excited but nervous because, I don't, I like change, but also this is a really big change for me. I've always had something going on. And so now, like, to be just able to be a wife and a mom is crazy. And I'm excited about it, but like, like, I want to make sure I do a good job. Like, I just sit there and think about everything, and I'm like, I just want to be the best as I can be. But we'll see. We'll figure it out.
We will. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And also, just because I am banishing you to the house, so you have to take care of our kids, doesn't mean that I'm not thinking of ways to help you in that circumstance of like making a plan. We can talk about that later too. But yeah, people's definitely gonna say that I brainwashed you. Okay, I know that a big part of your life now is being a mom, but let's kind of transition. Let's turn back the time dial a little bit. Let's go into softball. What would you say is your biggest learning experience from softball?
Gosh. Everybody says like you're gonna fail and all that stuff. Yeah, you're gonna fail. It's a sport, but I think biggest lesson that I learned is if you're not going to motivate yourself, someone's going to tell you how shitty you are to motivate you. So just go ahead and do it, you know?
Alyssa is in chat, and she told me the same shit about basketball.
Like, it don't matter. You can think you're the hottest shit on the planet, and then that one person's going to be like, yo, these are all your flaws. And then you either going to take it or you're going to, like, let it push you down or you're going to work harder. It's simple as that.
I don't think I've ever told you that story. We were at my grandma's house one time, and I don't. This is like this unspoken thing in boys, where we like fake like we're euro stepping and like hitting a layup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I'm playing on a middle school team, and I'm not getting any PT. I'm like 5 feet tall. And Alyssa was walking in the kitchen, and I was going out, and I euro stepped her, and she got, I don't know what was going on, bro, but she just went off, and she was like, bro, you suck at basketball. And it hurt my feelings. Of course, it hurt my feelings. So I was like, damn, okay. So then I ended up quitting. And then I dedicated my free time to getting better. So I was good at basketball, and I didn't even play basketball. But it was all because Alyssa told me I sucked.
She said that she's so sorry that she said that to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I see that. It's okay. But I needed
It
that, though.
happens.
Because
Yeah.
honestly, what if I had kept putting time into basketball and I didn't get serious about baseball and football? Then I wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And that's why I think
Life
bullying
hurts.
is important sometimes.
Absolutely.
The right
Me
circumstances,
too.
I think bullying is effective.
Considering that my job is basically bullying people,
But also at the
I
same time, that's not really the case because I don't think that happens a lot of the times talking to you.
what do you mean by that?
You're just being an asshole to them. They're like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Garbage. Yeah, today was pretty rough, but honestly, it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta be honest with people. But
Okay, what about a best softball memory? Do you have one that doesn't
yes.
involve cone ice?
Okay, didn't have to call me out like that. Okay. Honestly, though, sometimes, like when it's really hot outside, and like there's something in my bones that's like I know a cone of ice is around somewhere, and I'd be damn, they'd be downtown, and I'd be like, ugh. Um, probably my favorite memory was in nationals. My team was amazing. Okay, we had done so good. We had been undefeated at this tournament so far, and we played this team, and like I always had beef with purple teams. I don't know what it was, but like if I saw a purple uniform, I instantly knew they were going to be assholes. Okay, and I think it was the Outlaws, maybe some. It was some dumb, like it was a dumb name, but also I couldn't say much because we were the Impulse. I couldn't say much, but I remember I was playing great. Like I was pitching literally almost every single game, and
I was
we
thinking that,
had
Alyssa. I was about to say go dogs, but I left it alone. Sorry.
uh,
Go ahead, Mattea.
but we had played this team before and they were just jerks. Like I mean just this first baseman just kept running her mouth. Just running her mouth, running her mouth, running her mouth. And it was a tied game, championship game. I'd been pitching great. Me, strategically I always had a plan. The reason I was doing things was for a reason. And she had gotten up and she was pulling everything, so I was like, I'm gonna have to throw a fastball outside. She like pulls it. It's a little dinker that went in front of me and it went over my head. And she was at first and she was running her mouth. And she was like, she wasn't gonna give me anything, blah blah blah. And me, I just turned to her. I was like, listen, I got better things to do. Watch this. And I struck out the like three up, three down kind of thing. Go back in, and Haley, my sister, she was in front of me. She was always quick. We were always the people that were really aggressive on the bases. And she had an awesome hit. And she went around third, and the girl at first had the ball, and she was like yelling at Haley from across the field. She's like, "Where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go?" Like trying to fake pump it. And Haley just stood there. She's like, "Are you gonna throw it or what?" We end up getting, or getting out, Okay, and I'm up next, and that whole tournament I was hitting hot. Like I had already had like I don't think I had, but maybe two hits that whole game that I didn't get on base. I was really killing it that tournament. And I don't know, like I just had it in me. I was like, I'm done. Like F them. Get up, and I just freaking yak it over the scoreboard. And I ran past him, and I remember Haley Carr was at home plate, and she goes, Mattea, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna go? And I go, I'm going home. And like we won, and it was a walk off, and then I got MVP of the national tournament, and I just love that face of like I shouldn't be talking shit because back then like I was able to like really do something about it. If a team was talking shit, I had a team to back me up to like get something done. But I remember that it was my favorite moment because it was like a big F you to this girl's face. Like, you were rude to my sister, you were rude to my teammates, you talked so much shit saying that we weren't good, but yet we beat you. Oh, it was perfect. Perfect moment. Mm. Yeah, that was probably my favorite
Okay,
softball
let me
moment.
preface this. I guess we're reliving our good old days because I have to tell the story because that story reminds me of this. And also, I will preface this by saying clearly Mattea is better than me because she was talking about a Nationals game, and this is a Little League championship game. Okay.
Hey, it still matters.
Also, the only championship game Terry Johnson ever won as a coach. So
Hey, that makes it even better.
let me set up the scene for you.
Okay.
Alyssa was here. She can attest. I catch the whole game. It's like sixth inning. We're up to 2 runs. Mark, my dad's the head coach of the team, looks at
Mm-hmm.
my dad and he's like, "We need to put Trey in the pitch." And my dad's like, "No." Like, granted, I don't know any of this until after the fact when I'm talking to Mark about it. But my dad's like so nervous. He's like, "No, he can't. He can't do it. He can't do it." So they put me in the pitch. No outs. I want to say like maybe 1 out. Get a ground ball. Get an out. Hold him at 3. Runner at second and third. 2 outs. Ground ball again to I think third base, and they throw it to first, and he just drops the ball. So runner from third scores. We're up 1. Everybody's like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And fastball outer half, same. It literally couldn't be any more identical than the previous one. And third baseman picks it up and like runs past the mound and like just lobs it to first. We get the out. I'm like dead sprinting to like cover a drop ball basically,
Mm-hmm.
and he catches it. We get the out. Game over. I just like I'm full sprint towards first. I just slide. I'm like looking at fucking Kirsten and Mike and my mom. I'm like, let's go. It was fire. And then we
That's
went and
so
got
funny.
barbecue. We did it for
That's
the queue,
awesome.
but my dad's only championship. And
That's
the
funny.
levels there is insane because, dude, that's wild. Wild.
Mm,
Good old days.
yeah. I miss sometimes I really like I think about it and I miss it because like I think it's probably narcissist of me. I was like I knew I was better than everybody, so it felt so good. Like I remember that we went to Tennessee for World Series and I don't know what happened to me, but I was just strike after strike after strike. I went like 60 pitches without throwing a ball, and people started crowding around, and they were getting hyped, and I was getting hyped, and I was like, y'all gotta calm me down. Like, I'm getting too hot. Like, my head's gonna get too big. But, like, I love knowing that people knew that if they saw me, I was getting something done. Like, it was all business. get in, get out. Like, I trusted my team so much, like travel ball team. If I saw a ground ball hit to Haley, I knew she got that out. I was walking back to the dugout, like no questions asked, like did not stop. And, that was just how it was. Like I trusted my team. They knew I needed to get something done. They got it done. So I do miss that. That's probably narcissist of me to say, but like I miss
No.
being that hot,
Do you
like that
think
hot
so
shit.
you think you definitely miss like that era of softball than college?
Oh yeah, I would relive my travel ball days over college days any day.
See, for me it's high
Like,
school. I think for like granted I loved the optimist time. Granted
mhm,
not really cuz I had a fucking like catch and I didn't like it, but I was really good at it. If I'd stayed a catcher, my knees one I'd already need knee replacements, but two I'd probably be somewhere different. So everything happens for a reason.
mhm, mhm,
But for me, high school, like just being around that group of guys and like having a leadership role, like that's what I miss. I don't necessarily
yeah,
miss play, like I don't miss playing, but I miss being with those guys, like wearing fucking cut off T-shirts in the outfield and just being jackasses and wearing fucking eye black over my eyes. That's the shit that I miss, like being with the boys.
yeah. Well, my high school team was so much different, and so I was like, "F y'all, I don't." I only played 2 years of high school, so and the only reason that I got out of those 2 years, one was because I won. Um, Basically, I was told if I hit 6 balls out of the park at practice, then I wouldn't have to play for the high school team, and the high school coach was there. I hit every single one of those balls out. And I said, looks like I'm not playing this year. And they begged me the next year to play. And then I would have played my senior year. They had saved me a spot, but when I got sick, there was just no way I could compete to the level that I was used to competing at. So I just took a break and just kind of rebuilt everything.
For sure. Do you think I kind of talked about this last week with Brock, and he was talking about kind of how he started and he had never really played until somebody was like, "Hey, you should play golf for the high school team." Um, but like when I was in middle school, I had already been playing baseball since I could walk. So when they started a middle school team and I had free time, I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Dad, I'm about to play for the middle school." So like I was the guy. Like nobody else had played. They were just like, "Oh, like I'll play because what else do I have to do?" So like I was the
Mm-hmm.
guy, and I think that it was a good learning experience because granted it wasn't the last time that it happened because I played on another like 15U team that
Mm-hmm.
was garbage and I was the guy again. I think it teaches you a lot about yourself, but being the like number one all the time, I think it does something to your ego,
Oh, for
especially at a young
sure.
age.
For sure. Because, I mean, I didn't start playing softball until I was like 11. By then, I had done gymnastics and I tried soccer. Softball was my last sport to try because I was not interested in any other sport. And,
That's why you run funny.
bro, I used to run a mile in less than 8 minutes, okay? Thank you,
It's not that you're
Coach
not good at
Portwood, for
running. You
that
just
one.
run funny. It's
See,
the
okay,
concept of doing things, playing baseball or softball first. That carries over into every sport.
yeah, but
Everything after
side
that
note,
looks so natural.
Side note, okay? Oh, have you seen me play basketball? That is not natural. That is horrible. I suck at basketball. But
But no, you made the point for me. You played something before softball.
oh yeah,
If you
yeah.
so I started with baseball. That's my
If
first
you start,
sport.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I get
everything
what you're saying.
else. Now, granted, I might not be the best at it, but it looks natural. Like if I'm like in the
Yeah,
gym and I'm shooting, they're like, "Oh, he plays ball," and I'm like, "No." Somebody told me they thought I played basketball, and I was like, "Bro, absolutely not."
no.
I was 5'5" until my junior year of high school. I did not play basketball. Actually, my sister told me I sucked, then I quit playing basketball.
No. See, I started off in rec ball. Scott County had such a huge like rec ball team situation, And I remember I had a coach who we needed pitchers desperately. So he had asked this pitching coach to come in. He's like picking people, and the only reason I got picked was I was the fat tall girl. Literally, I was, 5'6" already when at 10 or so. I
Yeah,
might be.
that's the thing
I
too.
was
Girls grow
tall,
faster than guys. There was a girl, no
and
bullshit. She was probably like 6 foot in 5th grade.
dang,
I stabbed
I
her in the
bet
eye with
she
a
hated
pencil.
that. Terrence, it's
It was.
awful.
It's kind of her fault.
Okay,
I'll
we're
tell the
not
story.
victim blaming.
Continue, and then I'll tell the story.
But he picked me. I kind of learned the gist of it, and then I actually turned out being good at it. So they just kept on putting me in lessons. And then that guy moved to Canada, and I was like, well, shit. I guess my pitching career is over. And they're like, no. And then my dad signed me up, and I had pitching lessons literally like 3 times a week. And then it just escalated from there. And then, I mean, gosh, it was a lot. It was a lot. But I mean, it was good. And then, you know, I just think the reason I love travel ball so much was I felt like I was myself. Like I wasn't around people who, you know, it never bothered me to be around people who were better than me. I loved it. It made me want to work harder.
Same.
But I hated the people who were better but assholes about it, because they always put you down.
Well, I think it
And
falls into that same concept though, of like being in a position where you're the number one at a young age. It plants that seed for narcissism, because
yeah.
I I think the only reason it didn't stick was because where I started off, I had played my entire life. So like 10 years. Well,
Hmm.
no, what in middle school, 8th grade, I would have been 13.
Hmm.
So for 13 years, I'd been playing this game, and I hadn't been on teams that were like crazy. Like I had good surrounding staff, I guess, but it wasn't like you're clearly the best player here. Like I busted my ass. That's where my edge came
Hmm.
from. So ultimately, it was basically like just putting me in a group of people who had never played, and I mean somebody who busts their ass to be better than people who are actually good at the game. You put them around people who never played. It's like chess
Yeah.
to checkers. So for
Yeah.
for me, when I got in that position, I know where I actually am because I see where I've come from. Like I've seen the people I play with, and
Hmm.
they're good, and I'm good, but I'm not top. I
Oh
am on this
yeah.
team, so like I took advantage of it when I played on that middle school team.
Yeah.
I was bro. The coach was. I was telling the coach to take me out and put me somewhere else because I wasn't feeling it, and then he was putting me back in,
Yeah.
and I got tossed out of a
Uh,
game. But
yeah.
then I take that, like, getting tossed 100% was my fault. I was being a dickhead. You can't really be a dickhead to umpire and it go your way.
Yeah.
Um, Granted, Terry got tossed too because he's a ride or die. But he ride
He took it a little.
he
He took it
he
a little too
rode
serious.
and he died. All right. Uh, but then the following, like the next couple of years, I played on this 15U team, and it's the same premise. I remember the first practice, I hit this line drive off the fence. It should have been an easy triple for me, and I round first, and dude's standing on second. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
And then I had a
It's
play.
just
There's a play
different.
where I get a ground ball at the middle. I'm pitching, and I would play shortstop every other game. And the kid like error kicks the ball around, and then he's like really down on himself. And the coach comes out. He's like, he's mad. And I was like, I'd fucking be mad if I fucked up that bad too. And he was like, because he knows you made the play. And I was like, oh, for shit, sure, I would have made the play. But I think it was as long as you're not where you're always um like that's not where you start at. Like you're just naturally good and you've always been the number one. I think having positions later in life where you're the best, it's a good learning experience.
Oh, for sure. Like, I mean, especially with the people that I grew up playing with, looking back on it, like, I see why I struggled so bad at U Pike. Absolutely love Stags. April, all of them are amazing. And, the team that I came into playing with, we could have gone super far, but due to COVID and stuff like that. But, like, when I was very young, being starting out in softball, my nickname was the Mule because everybody knew that they could count on me to literally drag my ass to every game and get something done. Like, it didn't
Before you
matter
get
how
deep into the
tired I.
story, hold on. We got an ad break. I don't want somebody to
Oh,
miss it because it's an automatic
yeah,
ad.
I accidentally did that. I want that
I'm
back.
actually gonna do this right now.
French to be sneaking.
It stinks. Um, do you feel like you got your point out, or do you want to continue going off of that being the mule?
I was just a mule. It was a good thing because people could rely on me, but it made me feel so crappy that, like, no one thought about my feelings. You know? Like, no one asked me if I was tired. I lived off of Kahuna Ice and a drink every once in a while, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the downside of like being that person that constantly busts your ass. Cause like
Hmm.
whenever you're not, they don't ask what's wrong. It's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Tighten up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Okay. What is your purpose in life?
Being a child of God, being a wife, being a mom, just being a good human being, man. That's my purpose in life. Like, love my God, love my family, and just, I mean, try to be a good human on this earth. I mean, it seems like a lot of people are falling short nowadays, you know? It doesn't take much to be nice.
For sure. We'll get into that. I got some questions to ask you about faith, but I like that answer. We've kind of been over the long-term life and career plans. Best college experience.
Before you or after you?
The fuck does that mean?
Like, back when I was partying hard, or like when I calmed down after I met you?
There should only be one answer to that question, and it should be spending every day with you.
Yeah? I thought you wanted a funny story.
That's not what I asked.
Yeah.
I said, what's your best college experience?
Oh, meeting you.
Oh, see, look, now it's forced. Now it's forced, chat. You see it. It's forced now.
No, for sure meeting you. And I heard the question wrong.
Do you remember our first date?
Subway? Or like our actual...
That was our actual first date, and then you ghosted me.
I'm not fighting with you over
I'm
this.
not fighting.
Okay.
I didn't lie.
A man that didn't even ask me to be your girlfriend. He just asked me to marry you. So first off, if there's anything, that's gonna be like, oh, you did this wrong. You did this wrong. Cut the cameras. Okay, cut the cameras. I ghosted you because I was told wrong information. And by your track record at that time, it wouldn't have been too crazy to believe that. Okay?
Well, why didn't you ask me?
I apologize.
For those of you who don't know, somebody told Mattea that I had a girlfriend when she first started talking to me. After we talked for 3 hours on our first date. After an intramural basketball game.
That I went to.
That I put belt to ass on after we went on our first date, her ex after that. Put belt to ass. Anyways.
Because they said you had a girlfriend.
Yeah, why do you ask me?
If you were talking to me that way, how was I know you're not going to be like, oh, I don't have a girlfriend, and you actually have a girlfriend? You get what I'm saying?
But you could have asked.
Yeah, whatever. It's too late now.
True. The rest is history.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, everything worked out how I was supposed to, because I was still an asshole back then, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
I took accountability.
Chat, listen. When I first met Terrence, and I walked into his dorm room, he had mirrors taped to the ceiling.
You say taped like they were just wrinkly dinked up there, okay? It was command strips.
Command strips on the ceiling. There were posters of half-naked women everywhere.
There
was a sign that if you looked at it, you're like, that looks weird. On the back of it, it was him and his friends listing the girls that they had slept with. Am I wrong?
No.
See? So, it wasn't wrong for me to be like, maybe I shouldn't be talking to this guy.
But you wanted to.
It's true.
There was a part of you that was like, I could fix him. There was a part of you.
No. Listen, I was like, man, this guy's pretty cool. After you had given me a Corona and I started rapping No Vaseline. And I was like, man, we could really vibe. And then I found that out the next day and I was like,
the misinformation.
Yeah, I was like, man, ain't that a bitch? And then I was like, all right, see you around. But she didn't really fight hard
She didn't even say that.
Like,
She didn't even say that. She just stopped talking to me.
You didn't even ask. You didn't.
No, I did. You don't remember the conversation at B-Dubs? We're not arguing. This is important information to our story. This is like,
Yes.
this is chapter
Oh,
one.
okay. Yes, but at the same time, it is what it is. That girl is long gone.
Chapter one, Mattea goes TJ. That's the chapter.
Chapter 2. Skip to chapter 5. Married and have kids. Oh gosh. But yeah. Good times though. Yeah. Meeting you, by far the best college experience. Moving to Pikeville was the best thing for me. So yeah.
Chapter two is, it's a very quick chapter, and it was just everybody thought that we were fucking before we were,
Yeah.
because we were just
I
cool.
was opening. I literally was opening doors for his whatever she was at the time. Literally just going to the side door, open it for him. He would be like, "Thanks, Mateo," and I'd be like, "No problem." And
Yes, because I don't want to leave the room.
literally just chilling. Just like honestly, we were truly not even. I wouldn't even say we were friends. We're more like acquaintances.
Coworkers, you were literally printing shit off
Yeah,
for me for work.
yeah. And then that chapter ended, and
And
then
then there was one night, you just happened to be up at 4 in the morning, the same time that I was. So it started it
yeah,
all.
started it all. At times, and then we became like super best friends.
And I
And
said,
then next, oh, I need to wrap my ass in, and then like here it is. I got a kid. I'm married.
and
Proof
now
is
we
in the
get to
pudding.
write sequels.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Sitting by this vent was not the move. I'm freezing.
Oh. I thought you said Simba's vet, and I was like, what? All right, so just real quick, we'll talk about parole, and then we'll wrap up with faith. So, kind of talk about how you lucked in. Would you call it lucked in to getting the job?
Yeah. I just want to preface this. I love my job when my job is a good thing. I hate my job when it's a bad thing. Um,
And can we
I
go
love.
back to earlier in the podcast where you said your job is bullying people?
Oh yeah. Okay. So preface this. I have a girl. Today's story. Um,
Can you say this without getting in trouble?
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying their names
Okay, don't
or
slip up and
anything
say
like
their
that.
names, because you do that
No, 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 no,
sometimes.
no, no. Shut up. I don't give you fake names.
Yeah, that's right.
I give you fake names.
Right.
I had her once before. When she was in treatment, and she messed up. She left. She came back to me the next day, and she said she felt awful about leaving treatment. She was really serious about it. So I cut her a break and I let her go back to treatment. And she finishes up. She gets out. She gets on, another officer's caseload. She absconds a few days before she's finished because she was using again. Then, she goes on the run, gets in trouble in West Virginia, and then she serves out on her case for Pike County, but then she also has this case in Virginia, and so she gets on Donald's caseload for a little bit. She's done. Now I have her on her West Virginia case, and again, she's relapsed hard. I mean, it's simple as that. She's relapsed hard, and due to her not living in Kentucky, there's not much I can do. When people come over from state lines, it's hard to get anything done with them just because each state is different. And I had gotten a community complaint on her. I called her in, tested her. She was positive for quite a few substances. I labbed it, told her to come back the next day on Wednesday. She came back. Again, it was still positive, labbed it, whatever. And I got the labs today, and she had used between that Monday and Wednesday because her labs went up. So I tested her on Wednesday, so that means she had been using right after on Monday or that day on Wednesday or that day on Tuesday. Okay, she might have done it that Wednesday morning. And one of the substances that she was using is a form of hydrocodone that is it's an opiate which is only used for cancer patients because it's a very strong opiate, and her mom has cancer. She's taking her mom's pills. And I just ripped into her today. I was like, what are you going to do if you go to jail? What if you overdose? What are you going to do? You tell me that you go get high and you let your son watch your mother. I was like, why would you put that responsibility on your child? As like, we keep doing the same thing over and over again. I'm like, why shouldn't you go back to jail? Why? Give me a reason why. And I told her, I was like, I'm not, I mean, I couldn't put her in jail. And I'm going to send her to treatment, obviously, because she's relapsed so hard she doesn't even see the damage that she's doing. And she said that she just feels like she's been institutionalized. And, that's the sad thing about this job is there's so many people who are so used to failing and so used to going back to the system that they don't realize there's a life outside of it. And that's just her case. I mean, I truly think she wants to change, but I think that she's so wrapped up in this idea that she can't change that, she's doing stupid stuff like that. And, me and her just went back and forth and, I just told her, I was like, listen, like, I don't want to see something bad happen to you because I mean, I think you're a good person. I think you just let drugs ruin your life. And that's the case with a lot of them. I mean, I treat everybody the same. There's a line between my drug addicts and the ones that also have a criminal history because each of them have a different story, but a habit like that is really hard for them to kick. And so it sucks when I have to be the bad guy, but sometimes telling them that you're disappointed makes them straighten up. I've had several people like that. And
Let me ask you
now they're
this: so
great.
when it comes to confidentiality, charges are public information. So
Mm-hmm.
why is it in your line of work there's certain things that you can and can't say?
Um, I think it's like a HIPAA. You know,
Hmm.
I could tell you situations, but I can't tell you the names and all that stuff because, I mean, there's certain cases I can't really talk to about because they're so open to the public, like especially like our cases that are pending now. Um, it's a HIPAA situation. Like if someone calls
But at the
me and
same, but
they,
how does that apply though? If it's somebody who, so like any records that you have, people can't find those online somewhere.
mm-mm. A lot of their stuff is like I don't know how to explain it the best. Like court records, you can always call the clerk and ask them like when's this person's hearing, if they have a warrant. Warrants are open.
So is
You can call and ask.
anything done at parole? Is that show up on a background test?
It will show if you were on parole, but it doesn't tell you like your records, like what
So
had
like
happened
it
when
won't
you
say
were on
like they failed a
parole.
drug test, they did this,
Yeah, it
they
won't say
absconded.
nothing
Hmm.
like that. No, it won't say
Now,
that.
granted, if they
That's
got a charge for absconding, then that would be on their background
yeah,
check.
it would be because you would have to get a warrant issued for absconding.
Now,
Yeah.
for certain circumstances, like say that I was an employer and I was hiring somebody who convicted felon, been through parole.
Hmm.
If I called the parole office like, "Hey, trying to figure out as much information about this person, this potential employee, how much could you tell us?"
I would have to have the permission from the offender. So if they, or sorry, I didn't mean to say offender, the subject, they don't like us to say offender, which I get it. But our client would have to tell us if we're allowed to tell them, like how much we're allowed to tell them. So even with family members, like moms who were clearly stated primary, like person, if something was to happen to them, to call them, I still have to ask them, like, what information you want me to tell them.
Is there
Um,
not like a
and
document they could sign? Because like in an R,
yeah, there is.
okay,
There is.
that
There
like just
is, but
waives all.
just hmm
Hmm.
but I like to be safe than
No,
sorry.
for
And
sure,
then
and that's kind of
I
what I
just don't want
tell
to
people in my job.
scare people.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like I
interesting.
can tell you a story like this and you not know the context. Like this person who I'm talking about has had years of drug abuse, has, had so much trauma in their life that honestly the only way that they know how to be normal is to use. And that's what the case is with a lot of my clients. And that doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them somebody you need to put a little bit more time and care in, because a lot of these people have never had people proud of them. They've probably never had a stable home. They've never had a stable job. And it's solely because of the history that they've had, but also because they don't think they can do better outside of that world. You
From that
start thinking
perspective,
too
though, be
stubborn.
kind of being on the outside looking in or inside looking out. Do you think that there would be benefits to having everything that happens in parole public?
Sometimes, yes, in certain cases. Um, but again, I do believe everybody has the right to privacy. I mean, I don't tell people like, if sometimes people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, Mattea," sometimes I don't even like. I'll be like I wave to them because I know they're a client or they're a potential client, and I don't want any interference between that. Like I like to keep their private lives. You know, at the end of the day, I go home and I'm no longer Officer Johnson. I'm Mattea. You know, so I don't think they like to have that tagged on them all the time.
I can't wait
And
until that's my life and it's not constantly something that I'm dealing with that has to do with my job.
yeah, it sucks.
Oh, does it now?
Yeah, it sucks. But at the same time, like I still love my job because there is moments when I get through to people and I can see the change in them very visibly. They tell me, and it makes me feel good. You know.
So the adverse
Uh,
to that would be what you don't like about your job is where you have these people that have potential but just keep falling back into what they've been doing.
mhm. And the thing is, I'm a young officer. I'm still very optimistic about people. And not saying my coworkers are like everybody's horrible, no, but they've seen the rotation of everybody. They've seen them when they first started. They've seen them at their worst of worst, and then now they're coming to like where they're actually somewhat coming off of being institutionalized and kind of picking up their life. Um, it's just hard some days, for sure. Going from Officer Johnson to a wife and mom is hard for me some days, especially since like I get so disappointed, and then I come home and I'm supposed to be happy and sunshines.
I mean, there's certain days you come home and just had all lost, all hope lost for humanity.
Hmm.
I get it.
Which it sucks, but at the same time, I know that I've done my job by helping as much as I can. Um, I tell people I don't put you in jail for nothing. Not because like I don't let my emotions affect how I work with clients, because if I did, then I don't think anything would come out of it, you know.
For sure.
Sometimes people need tough love.
Yeah. So, kind of feeding that straight into faith, what do you think the biggest conflict between your job and faith is?
My anger. It's so hard for me to just be, because normally I think the best way I can describe it is like I get so disappointed and I get so angry, and like I just want them to be like I can't tell them put everything in God's hands, because it's not my place to bring religion into the workforce, and it's not my place to like push it on them. But as somebody who's a true like child that believes in God and wants people to, really. Oh, our kid's standing up. Our kid's standing up in the bed. Done. Oh, she's back. She's down. She's down. Oh, she's up. Hold on. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
I wish you can see this. She's just staring at the camera going,
Go check on her.
okay, there she laid her head back
Okay.
down. She's rubbing her eyes so hard. But I just never want to push it, Like when some of my clients, and this is also something I realized, a lot of my clients, when they turn their life around, a lot of times they say, I owe it all to God. And we talk about it. But it's hard for me to not bring God into my job and be like, maybe God's trying to tell you something because I don't want to push it on anybody. And it's hard for me to forgive people too. Like, gosh, that's one of and it's just for me too. I don't try to be revengeful, but like sometimes like you just want to be like,
Vengeful, but I get what you're saying.
whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I get that. I think too, kind of some of the feedback that I've gotten on my Facebook post here recently has been like hypocrisy, which I'm gonna dive into deeper. But I guess to preface it here, I'd say that I don't know. I guess my kind of run-ins with being religious and not being religious, I think that I mean honestly, it's still one of my big pet peeves is people that are so they're such hypocrites. Is because like you're saying all these things about how people should live their life, but you're living how you're not supposed to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because like I don't know. I think to a certain extent in faith, if you're gonna take everything, if you're gonna take things so so direct from the Bible, then you have to take everything. It can't be one thing. You can't pick and choose what you take 100% from the Bible.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
overall, I think it's more of a guide, like a teaching, like a guide. This is how you should live your life.
Yeah.
Now,
Like,
if everything was like too form cut, you have to live this way, then everybody who plays football is committing sin, and
yeah.
like everybody is sinning in some form or fashion, even if they are devout in
Mm-hmm.
their beliefs. Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's one Christian that you could be like, "Hey, are you perfect?" and they'd say yes. So in
Yeah.
that sense, everybody's going to hell. But for
Yeah.
me, like the hypocrisy is really what I think it's honestly from what I've seen and what I've kind of talked to people about, that's the biggest thing that turns people off from religion. And I get it,
Yeah.
but at the
No,
same time,
complete.
just because some Christians are that way doesn't mean that they all are.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just exposed the fact that I have pink pants on. That's embarrassing. Yeah. No, I completely agree. That's what really honestly made me lose my faith when I was younger, you know, was that the hyper I almost said hyperbole. I don't even know what a hyperbole is.
Hypocrisy.
Uh yeah.
No, I get it. So what as a mother has drawn you closer to faith?
Having Evie, like that was the first time that I felt a sliver of God in a long time.
Same.
Like like when she was placed on my chest, I think that's why I was sobbing was because I felt God. And it wasn't like, and I've talked to you about this before, like it wasn't like I just stopped believing in God. I literally just stopped having faith in people and the religion itself. And so when
Going
I
off
had,
the hypocrisy side of things.
mm-hmm, like, growing up apostolic and, having this battle between who I was on the weekends and who I was on the weekdays was so hard for me. And then so many life events happened. And then I was so angry with God, and I just really had a hard time with that. And then I met you, and some of my faith was restored. I was like, okay, maybe this is where it's getting better. And then, we got pregnant, and then I just meeting Evie. I was like, this was God's plan the whole time. And one of the reasons I was so discouraged when I was at church was because I never got the Holy Ghost. Because I always felt God, but I felt like there was something wrong with me because I was never speaking in tongues or anything like that. And
Is that a big thing at the Apostolic Church?
mm-hmm,
Hmm.
and I tried so hard, and I would pray and pray and pray and pray, and I just thought something was wrong with me. And I realized that God was talking to me the whole time. And just because God is talking to you does not mean you have to tell everybody. Like, you can literally let that in and just like feel it. Like,
Say
it
it again
almost
for
brings
people
me
in the
to
back.
tears. Yeah. But I mean, then having Evie, feeling God's presence, and ever since then, like, I felt it every single day. Um, I really need to get back to like waking up early in the morning to do my, you know, readings and stuff, because that's something that I kind of slacked off on. Um, but I don't know, just having Evie really changed. I feel like it changed both of us. I mean, when I met you, you were nowhere near where you are now when it comes as far as your relationship with God. Like, I think that's why it works so well. Like, I go to church because I love that feeling of feeling God all around me, and I love having someone talk to me. And I think that your relationship with God is so beautiful too, because our baby's up. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna try to soothe her. Hold on, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Tell Freaky to get out of the conversation.
I'm gonna take a quick ad break, and then we'll be right back. So, just for a little insight, I plan on using Mattea as a buffer. If somebody cancels or somebody can't be on, then Mattea is going to fill in. So that's the plan as of right now. So Mattea will definitely be back on. But we'll get her back on here. We'll wrap up this last little bit, and then we'll call it a night. Just hang tight. Chat, I appreciate y'all being here. Evie is crying. Mattea's taking care of it. We're about to wrap up. I'm definitely going to put out on socials when we get this posted. I'm going to get with Sleepy tomorrow and get everything posted. But
I don't know how long it's gonna last, but
I
I
think
tried.
right now you might be the hottest guest we've had on here. So chat's been constantly blowing up and down.
What'd you say?
I said you might be the most popular guest we've had on so far.
Oh, really?
They love Mattea.
Oh, how many people signed on?
I mean, it's been on and off the whole night. We're at 4 right now.
Yeah.
So you're saying
Sorry.
the way I go about faith.
I think I really liked. I really enjoyed watching your faith grow. I definitely. It makes me realize that I think too, like people when we first started getting like when we first got together, a lot of my family was like, "How does it work with you believing in God and Terrence being an atheist?" And I was like,
That's
"He
more
has his."
agnostic, but
Uh, yeah, but I was like, our kid, she's
we're almost
looking
done.
for me.
This is the last
I
segment,
know.
and then
So
we're
sorry.
out of here.
Sorry,
You're good.
guys. I apologize, but my baby, she's looking for me. But just how it worked, and I just told him it just works because it does. It doesn't matter. I mean, you have your beliefs, I have my beliefs, but I think now that we're both, even though you don't go to church, and I still ask you every week, if you want to go to church, it's still, I don't know, I feel like it has brought a lot of joy into our marriage, more
No, for
joy.
sure. Yeah, I think honestly for me, it's not. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons I feel like I don't go to church. The biggest being that I don't think the church now is what its intention was when Jesus was. Because like I feel like especially reading Genesis and like the beginning of the Bible, where God's talking about like yeah, they had churches, but worshiping God then was more like on your own time,
Hmm.
like building pillars for God. Which actually I haven't told anybody this, but I do that at golf courses, especially when I'm by myself. But um, I'll build like a little stack of rocks and like pray and kind of give it to God. But I think that's more for me, and in that sense too, I don't think it's necessarily. I think the core is worshiping God,
Yeah.
and I think it ultimately comes down to preference. For me, I don't necessarily need to go to a congregation of people that are kind of on the same agenda. For me, I can worship God my own ways and see God in the world, opposed to going somewhere for somebody to talk about a sermon that they don't necessarily believe in. They just think that they know the congregation, and that's what the congregation needs to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And also, there's a really hard quote. I think about it a lot, but um, they were talking about Satan and finding people to like take advantage of, and he said Satan's more likely to go to church than the bars because he knows he's already got the people at the bars in his under his wing. People
Yeah.
at church is the people he's trying to win over. And that
Yeah.
hit, and I was like, damn, that's good.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely appreciate it. I think that, I mean, granted, I think Evie was kind of the same for me. Kind of was like, hey fella, this shit's bigger than you.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but I mean, it definitely helps that I had somebody who's grounded and didn't necessarily want to change me, but gave me the opportunity to change myself. So I appreciate you.
Mwah.
Anything for the people before we get out of here?
Be kind, honestly. We need more kind people in the world, especially since, like, driving. Be kind, love one another. I gotta go be a mom. I'll see you in a minute, babe. So
Okay,
sorry.
no
Maybe
problem.
one day we do part two, but she's cried so hard.
Okay,
I love you. See you in a bit.
I love you. See
Thanks.
you in a minute.
Bye.
Honestly, it was kind of a shit show, but we got more time than I thought. I'd say out of the hour and 55 minutes, probably an hour and a half of usable time. So, hey, not too shabby. I probably sat here 20 minutes waiting for her. I literally set everything up. All she had to do was sign on. So, hey, I'll take it. I'm probably going to have to go back in and edit that and chop a whole bunch of shit out of it. But I appreciate y'all for being here. I honestly just made the decision. I'm talking to the executives of the Easy team about what they think about it, but I think with how well this has been going and the number of people I have lined up to be on, I really enjoy talking to people. And if me doing this is something y'all are more interested in, please reach out because I love doing it. So I might equate 2 days to podcast moving forward. But hey, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Be better, be easy, all right? I'll see y'all on Thursday, baby.